Welcome to the SRS help video for quarterly status reports. My name's Lynn, and I'm here to show you how to lodge a quarterly status report. If you're watching this video, it is assumed that you should already have the appropriate security access to SRS. The Work Health and Safety Mines Regulations 2022 requires mine operators, including exploration operators, to submit a quarterly status report to the regulator. This report must be submitted via SRS no later than 15 days after the end of each quarter. Quarterly status reports submitted after this time will be considered late reporting. To access the notification subsystem, you'll need the appropriate security roles. Refer to the system's access videos for more information. Once you're in the notification subsystem, you'll see the summary page for incidents. You'll be able to find and open incomplete status reports in the summary grid. Today we're going to lodge a new status report, so we'll click New. On the lodgement page, select the business area the report relates to, either mining or exploration. Then, select the period for which the report relates to. In this example, we will select Mining, WS Notification, and select Status Report from the drop-down menu. To submit monthly status reports up to March 2022, select option Notification up to the 30th of March 2022. Please note, this is only for the Mine Safety Inspection Act 1994, MSIA. To submit status reports from April 2022, select Notification on or after the 31st of March 2022 and select Status Report from the drop-down list. Click Continue. This will open the Quarterly Status Report form with its own unique reference number. This list on the left shows the steps you'll need to complete in order to lodge a status report. The first step is Reporting Details. Ensure all mandatory fields, as denoted by an asterisk, are completed. Start with the reporting period and select the appropriate quarter and year. The period selected is normally the previous quarter. The system will auto-populate information where it can, but if you have access to more than one company and site, select the appropriate options from the drop-down. In this example, we're submitting a status report for a mining operation, so select the site operation from the drop-down. You'll also need to enter the commodity being processed into this field, for example, gold, nickel, iron ore, etc. Or, for an exploration lodgement, in the location field, you'll need to identify the physical location of the exploration activities occurring within Western Australia for the quarter. This may include tenement numbers, project name, and GPS coordinates relevant to the exploration activity. The form completed by section is auto-populated with details of the person who's logged into the system. Then, towards the bottom of the page, select the operation type from the drop-down that best describes the site you're reporting for, either surface, underground, or both. Click Next. This brings you to Step 2, Employment Status. You will notice that this step uses the selection you made earlier under Operations, and because I selected both, I have two sections to complete, one for surface and the other for underground. We're going to enter the figures for the surface work areas first. Use the free text field to enter the average number of workers employed by the company who worked in the surface work areas during the reporting quarter. Then enter the total number of hours worked for these workers. We'll refer to these two figures as A. Then enter the equivalent figures for contract workers for the quarter. We'll refer to this set of figures as B. Then under total surface workers, add these figures for A and B together to give you the average number of workers and the total hours worked for the quarter. only whole number values are accepted in this area. If there are 0 stats to report, click Report Nil Stats. This will populate the fields with 0. If the operation includes both surface and underground activities, repeat the same steps for each operation type. Following that, you'll need to complete Step 3, Incidents, Injuries, and Illnesses. Please note, all fields are mandatory and only whole numbers are to be used. You will see that each field has an explanatory note to assist you in completing the notification. Under the first section, Incident Summary, you are required to provide a total number of all submitted Notifiable Incident Report Forms, NIRF, on SRS for the quarter. The date of the incident, not the date of the notification, determines whether it is included in the quarter. Moving down the page into Injury/Illnesses Summary, the first field is Number of Lost Time Injuries. All lost time injuries or illnesses that occurred during the reporting period must be recorded in this field. These will be listed in the Work Status Timeline, which is a new label for carryover injuries. Please only include an injury that went on lost time first. In the scenario where the injured person went on alternate duties first, then lost time, do not count this as a lost time injury. Under the days lost from work box, total the number of days where workers were on lost time, not including the day of the injury, for the reporting quarter by adding all L days together and record in this field. The next two fields both relate to workers on restricted duties. Calculate the total number of days for the quarter where workers were on alternate duties by adding all A days together, that is, alternate duty days, and record in this field. Then record the total number of all alternate duty injuries or illnesses listed in the Work Status Timeline area that occurred during the reporting quarter. Please only include an injury that went on alternate duties first. If they went on lost time first, then alternate duties, then please do not count this as a worker placed on restricted duties. In this scenario, the injury will be captured in the Number of Lost Time Injuries section. For the field Number of Treatment Injuries, total the number of medical treatment injuries and illnesses that occurred during the reporting quarter, but did not result in the worker being unable to work for 1 day or more. For example, review Step 5 of the NIRF's Notifiable Incident Report Forms that occurred during the reporting period. Under the heading Severity, check any injury that was selected as any other injury or illness. And the third question was answered as yes. This is considered a medical treatment injury and should be accounted for in the Number of Treatment Injuries field. In this field, include all deaths that have occurred during the reporting period. Note, it is important that injuries and illnesses are not entered twice into this summary. Account for the injury or illness under which the first Work Status Timeline entry was made. For example, if the worker was first on lost time days, the injury should be counted as lost time injury provided the injury occurred in the reporting period. The final area on this page is Work Status Timeline. Injury reports that are active for the reporting period will be pre-populated in this grid. To update a carryover injury, select the row, then click the Edit Pencil icon. Enter the number of alternate or lost time days for the reporting quarter only. Then click Save. This will update the fields in the grid. Ensure all carryover injuries are updated and no entries are left blank. If a carryover injury is not populated in the grid, you can manually enter the details. Enter the name, date of accident, work status, start date, and A or L, then click Add. Note: please ensure an injury report form is also completed for this entry. For more scenarios, refer to How to Update a Carryover Injuries video. If you have no carryover injuries, click Next. Now you're in Step 4, Levy Hours. This is where the levy hours for the reporting period are recorded as required under the Mine Safety and Inspection Levy Regulations 2010. Under the Levy Hours section, enter the total hours worked by workers, making sure to include both surface and underground workers where this is applicable. Select how your levy records are kept from the drop-down, either paper or electronic, and then record where the levy records are located, either on-site or off-site. If they are off-site, ensure you enter the physical address of where these records are located and not a PO box. Click Next. In this step, you can enter any additional information or attachments if relevant. For example, a summary of the status of the site when reporting nil stats for the quarter, or further information on a carryover injury, such as a reason for termination of an injured person. Then click Add. All attachments will populate in the grid below. Click Next. Step 6 is a helpful step, which helps you to address any errors or omissions. If an error message appears in red, click on the heading. This will take you to the field that needs your attention. Fix the error and proceed. Remember, at any step on any page, please refer to the SRS help page for further information. If there are no errors, then this step will be automatically skipped and you can proceed to the submission step. In this step, click Submit to complete the submission. A confirmation message advising that the submission was successful will be displayed with the reference number. By clicking Summary, you'll be taken back to the Summary page, where you can see listed all the incomplete and submitted notifications for your site. Now you should be able to lodge a status report. If you need any further information, refer to the SRS online help, watch the Updating Carryover Injuries video, or contact the department.